Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about 5 common recording problems solved. Hey, my name is Steve Collin for the secrets to music success.com, and today we're going to talk about 5 common problems that you'll have when you're recording. There's like 5 main things that even I go through the same things every day. It's like there's one of these elements usually pops up, and it's all part of the recording process. So it's okay. And once you kind of know a lot of these and you kind of like have some answers and some solutions, it kind of helps because you just embrace it and you be like, it's fine, it's okay. Here we go again. Let's figure this out. It's got to be something, and you just get better and better at figuring it. I remember when I first started recording, everything was so overwhelming and things didn't work, and it was just like I just didn't get it, and it was like so frustrating. And so maybe you're watching this and you're like, it is frustrating. Maybe it was just today, or maybe it was yesterday, or maybe it's right now. You're like, something, and you're trying to figure it out. And it's part of the process. And the cool thing is, once you get some of the problems, once you understand them, they rear their head every now and then, and it's okay. You just tweak it, and you know what the answer is. And so it's just a matter of learning those answers every time, but just knowing there could be something new that's not not working. And it's like, but it's usually one of these problems. One of these ones is the culprit. So before we dive in, please, if you like this video, please subscribe. And I'm aiming for the 500. I think we have, as of recording this, we have like 495. So we're nearly there at the 500. So please share it. And also, if you want some free pop songwriting tips or mixing tips, head over to my website at thesecrets2musicsuccess.com and check them out. But let's just, the link's below, but let's just dive in. So number 1 is distortion. So you'll find in the digital age, you don't want any digital distortion. It's just like in the analog world, yeah, some distortion was nice. You could really kind of drive some of your ions, drive some of your tubes and your preamps, and you would get like all those transistors would give you this really cool warm sound, and it was an added kind of artifacts to it. It had harmonic distortions to it and stuff. But you don't want that in the digital world. You don't want to run your preamp to your digital preamp. You don't want to get any red lines. So I call them redlining, or you don't want any of that distortion. So really tune your ears to start listening to what is a clean sound and what is distortion, because distortion is let's just say you record a vocal and and it's too loud going into the computer, and so it's you get those red lines, and it's what actually happens to the sound wave. It squares, it cuts the top off, and that sound is just so horrible. It's a horrible sound, and it's just you can't fix it. You can't. There's little things you can tweak, and there's plugins you can but you just got to get back to that source and just redo it again. And also turn your input down a little bit. So that's what you want. You don't want the distortion. You got to make sure that that you just don't have that. Now, one little tool that you can use is you can actually, let's say you're doing a snare drum or claps or something, and you have your preamp turned all the way down, and everything, and it's still too loud and it's still distorting. You can buy these little things. They're pretty inexpensive, $19, $20, $30, somewhere around there. Even cheaper than that. They're called a pad, a PAD. And what you can do, you can get a -20, so it actually takes the volume down from 0 to -20, or you can do -40, you can do -10. There's all different kind of ones. So depending what you think you need, I have a few sitting around. I don't use them that much, but every now and then I'll pull them out, and because it's such a loud sound that I'm recording, that most of my microphones are too sensitive, and they just pick it up, and it's like, and distort it. And so you want to make sure that you bring that down. And with vocals, one thing that distorts so easy is not having a pop filter. Those P's and those B's, those explode the capsule on the microphone, and so that will create distortion. So you got to have a pop filter when you're singing, so that will help that. And because you don't always want to move further away from the microphone to get to get less distortion. You want to be up close to that microphone. So those using those pads are really, really key. So those are really, really cool. I'll put a picture of one there so you can see it. So, all right, number 2 is hiss or hum. Now this one's a bit of a problem. Not a bit of a problem, but it's hard to kind of find where is it coming from. And one thing I'll tell you about hiss first is if you're getting a lot of hiss in your speakers, you just got to isolate where is the hiss coming from. Like, is it kind of like maybe change your cable? Like let's say it's a guitar. Now guitars are known for a lot of hiss, like hiss and hum. Like if you've got a guitar that has humbuckers, it bucks the hum. So that's a little bit different. And it should be a little quieter. But if you're using plugins, maybe there's sound or there's hiss and hum inside those plugins. I have quite a few that have a hiss like that, and that's kind of a bit of a natural thing. As long as you know where the hiss is coming from, you can change it later if you don't want, and you can turn down some of those parameters and that kind of thing. Sometimes the speakers will hiss. I have some HSM80s, I think they are, in the back here, and if you listen very, very closely, there's this tiniest little hiss. It's hardly audible, and I at first when I got them, I was like, what is this, But you deal with it, and it's not a bad thing. The hiss is actually coming from the speakers, so it's whenever you have them it doesn't matter, even if you unplug all the cables in the back and you just have power, there's hiss. So it's actually coming from the inside of the I don't want to say engine, but inside of all the electronics inside of the speaker there. So that's a hiss that you just have to deal with, or you upgrade to different speakers. But I know these guys, so I know what they're telling me. So that's a big point. You've got to know what your ears are telling you. So last thing I'll add with the hiss and the hums. The more preamps you use in your line, the more noise you're going to get. The noise floor goes up. So if you've got, let's say you're running into a tube amp thing into another preamp, then you're running into that into an EQ, and then you're running from the EQ into a compressor, then back into an EQ or something. If you did that, you would have so much noise. So if you can. And you're doing a chain like that, you want to run an EQ and a compressor or vice versa or whatever it is, and a preamp. See if you can get one built-in unit. That will kind of help as well. But sometimes you want that hiss, you want that mojo, you want that sound. So anyway, chasing up the hiss and the hum, that can be a little bit tricky, but keep going. Isolate everything. What is it coming? Unclick that plugin. Is it the plugin? Unplug a speaker. Is it the speakers? Is it a cable? If a cable is humming or hissing and there's something wrong with that cable, maybe you're using an unbalanced cable and it's supposed to be balanced, or you cut it up. If it's broken, if it's not working, throw that cable out. There's nothing more frustrating in my opinion. So all right, number 3, moving along, outside sounds. Now this is a big deal. Sirens, dogs barking, lawnmowers, you're going to be picking those up in your recording. Now if you are recording a loud part, let's say it's a big rocky song and you're doing vocals or something, or maybe guitars or something with a microphone, or drums, you can get away with a lot of outside noises. It doesn't matter. It's not going to come through. The worst ones are kind of like lawnmowers or something that's a constant, because that's, but like a dog bark or anything, it's like, it might even create a little bit of vibe. But if you're singing a really quiet, a more intimate, or even finger picking on the guitar, or whatever acoustic instrument it is, and it's a real quiet kind of part, you have to have a really quiet area, or else you're going to hear it. You're going to be like doing a couple of notes or holding a note on your vocals, and then you're going to hear a dog barking in the back or a siren, and so you gotta make sure you know that. And one of the little tricks, I used to live in right in the heart of so much, like traffic was like right on the road where there's traffic going and all the time. If I had to record a really quiet part, I would just record it at night. So that's just a simple little when it's really quiet, and it's not going to wake any of the neighbors up or anything, because it's a really quiet part. So keep that in mind. The outside sound. Now, room echoes. Number 4, room frequencies or room echoes. Now, the louder you sing your part, or the more you play, or the louder your part is when you're recording it, the more room you're going to capture. So now, Now, I'm personally not a big fan of the ISO booths where it's like everything is dead, because I don't know, I feel like I personally like to have more of a natural room, and every room has a different sound. So I don't like killing the sound of the room totally. I like it bouncing, not much, but I don't want to say bouncing, but just using that room sound. Move your microphone to the middle of the room. Don't record over in the corner of a room. Don't record near the wall or anything. Move more closer to the middle of the room, because the walls, that's where it's going to be hitting and bouncing. And of course, you can build these sound absorbers that take out the frequencies. A low frequency will hit one of these and it just stops. It doesn't bounce. That's why a bathroom or a gymnasium is just so echoey, or a basketball court is so echoey, because there's so many hard, flat surfaces. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to absorb those frequencies, those sounds. So, all right. So number 5, just troubleshooting. Welcome troubleshooting into your life. When you're in the studio and you're a producer, you're actually kind of wearing the hat of an engineer, because back in the day, an artist would come in and they would, let's say the Beatles, they would have a producer. They've got the band, the guys, then the producer, then they would have an engineer. So the producer would tell the engineer, I need this and this and this. Can you turn this up here, or can you do this over here? Can we wire this to there to that and to go to this kind of different sound? And the engineer would have to know exactly how to do that. So in this day and age, in this digital age, when you've got everyone's got a laptop, everyone's got a computer, everyone can record, you are the engineer and the producer. And maybe you're the session musician as well. You're the artist as well. But you are the engineer. So you're going to have to figure these things out. This is all part of troubleshooting. And, keep in mind, software. We're in this new world of software updates and having software issues. That's a big part of troubleshooting. Maybe it worked yesterday. I had something that happened to me a couple of weekends. I went live doing a live session where I invited everyone come into the studio via Zoom. And right when I was starting, like it must have been within 15 or 20 minutes, somewhere there, right when I went to start Pro Tools, there was an update with the iLock. And so it was down and it would not load, and it was unbelievable. I could not figure it out, and that's what. Then I found out that iLock was doing a little update right at that time, and I was like, oh, it's crazy. It drives you crazy. But troubleshooting is such a big deal. First thing is, follow your cables back. Is your microphone working? Change your cables. See if that's it. Is it working? Are you getting signal on your interface or your preamp? Is that working? So if that's working, then follow it back to the next part. Is let's say you're going into just an interface. So okay, you're getting signal on the interface. That's good. So are you getting signal into your DAW? If something's stopping there, then then it sounds like it's your DAW. So then you got to find out what's not working, and you just got to use Google. What's not working? Does Pro Tools or does this DAW work with that interface? Make sure they're talking to each other, and then if they're not, or maybe you want to open up maybe GarageBand or another simple recording thing and see if it records into that, because then if it records into that, it's a process of elimination. That's what troubleshooting is. Then it tells you that it's your DAW that's not talking to. So then maybe you figure that out, and it's like your DAW is fine, but there's no speakers coming in, there's no sound coming out of speakers. So then follow it back, play some other music on your speakers, see if that works. What did it work there? What's the sound card in your computer? Is the sound coming out of that, or should it be coming out of your audio interface? There's just so many things, and it's just always there. So just welcome troubleshooting. It's always going to be there. If you are an engineer, if you're a producer and you're trying to make music yourself, you are the engineer. You're going to have to figure this stuff out. You're going to be wondering, why isn't this working here? And you're going to have to figure it out. You're an engineer. So awesome, guys. So hopefully that was helpful to you producers out there, and mixing engineers, and anyone trying to get into recording, and hopefully that's been really helpful. Please like and please subscribe. The more you like, or not the more, but if you do like, it brings this channel higher into the feed, into the so then people can search and they can see it a lot easier. So it help more people. So, and then head over to my website for that free download of pop songwriting tips and mixing tips, and also have a look around there. We've got an awesome like mentorship program there where we do a monthly workshop where it's like, or it's more of a monthly Zoom where you send in your songs and I play your songs and I give you feedback and I tell you, okay, this would be great for this. This is what you're looking for if you want to change this kind of thing. And I give you like feedback on your songs, which is so priceless. It's just, it's awesome. And then we also do something that I love is, I invite you into the studio with me, and so virtually you get to sit on Zoom and you get to watch all of the tips and tricks I do and all the stuff that I'm doing as we record a whole song. We recently just did one. It was how to write, record, mix, and master a singer-songwriter song. So it's just a simple song. And then the next one we're going to do is like how to modernize a singer-songwriter song. Like, what are some of the tips that they're using these days to make that singer-songwriter song sound like sound current? Like, what are some of the things that we need to do to make them current? So awesome, guys. So check that out, and there's a bunch of other good stuff there, and I will see you in the next video.